Okay, yes, I know. My hair's wet, but I needed to talk about something having to do with the Karen Read case, and I couldn't wait. I just couldn't wait. But I didn't have an aha moment. I had how the fuck did I miss that moment? So this person, her name's Lauren J24, made this comment on one of my much older Karen Read videos. It was from a video, this one, that is in my playlist on my profile. It's the Karen Read trial part 8. This is the Jennifer McCabe rant. Anyway, she comes into this conversation. This is pretty recent, right? This is 4 days ago. She replies to a video that's almost a year old. And so I see it in my comments section and I read this. And it occurred to me, holy shit, I've never thought about it from this angle. And I'm mad at myself for never having talked about it from this perspective. So thank you, Lauren, because that's what today's video is about. And for the sake of argument, don't even pretend you're Jen McCabe. Pretend you're you. Let's walk through this just pretending you're you. You're out with some friends, you're drinking at a bar, having a good time. Your brother-in-law says, hey, let's head back to our house because the kids are there. You know, it's my son's birthday. Some 20-somethings are all hanging out at the house. Let's go crash their party. So all of these adults get in cars and they go to this house party. Now you, because you're kind of the hostess with the mostest, you got to be like, well, okay, what car are you going in? And are you going? And are you going? Are you, see you there? Do you know how to get there? Do you know like you're making sure, like you're commanding the situation. You're making sure everybody arrives and everybody gets there safely. You get there and you're there for a few minutes and you realize your friends Karen and John aren't there. So you start texting John, like, well, where are you? And John says, well, we got lost. You're thinking, my thought would have been, well, Karen was pretty shit-faced. I probably shouldn't have let them drive. But you're giving them instructions and you're like, are you here yet? Are you here yet? Here's where you can park. We're waiting for you. Get over here. So you keep texting. At one point you get up and you go and look out the door and you see their car out front. You're like, oh, they're here. But no one's getting out of the car. You're standing there and you're watching. You're like, no one's getting out of the car. So you go back to what you're doing. So you go look again. And you see the vehicle has moved a little bit down the street, but you still don't see anybody out walking around. No one's come to the door. No one's come inside. And then the vehicle leaves. So your thought is they just went home. Now, if it were me, my very next text would be, are you guys okay? Like, we saw you arrived, you didn't come in. Are you okay? Did you get in a fight? Like, is everything okay? Are you home safe? Like, that's probably what I would have done. But anyway, so you stay, you shut down the party. You're one of the last ones to leave. There seems to be a good night for everybody. You notice nothing weird as you're leaving. Nobody does. In fact, nobody notices anything on the lawn. There doesn't seem to be anything out of place or unusual as you all leave that night. Then at 5 a.m. the next morning, Karen calls you and she's freaked out. She's like, John never came home last night. And you're thinking, no, but he was with you. He was with you. What do you mean he never came home? He's there with you, Karen. I saw you both leave the house. He's with you. But she insists, he's not here. I've looked in every room. We got to go drive around looking for him. So you say, okay, now you're his friend more than you're her friend. So this is your friend. This is somebody you care about. So you would think, oh my God, something's happened to him. Let's go find him. So you would be really like anxious going and looking for him. Let's go here. Let's go there. Let's go here. Let's go there. So you'd be driving around with her. When you go back to 34 Fairview, which is the house where your sister lives, her brother-in-law, and their, I think, 3 kids, and their dog. So don't forget the dog. You pull up to this house. Now, I just think if this were me, if I pulled up to my sister's house the morning after a drunken party, because we all know we were all drunk and rowdy, a drunken party had taken place, and I pull up at my sister's house. I see somebody who I regard as a very good friend, and I take one look at him and I realize, oh my God, he looks like he's been beaten to death, right? That all the initial reports were that he looked like he just got the shit kicked out of him. So I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, oh my God, somebody did this to him. My first thought should be, is my sister okay? Are the kids okay? Oh my God. And you would run straight to the front door and you'd start pounding on the door. Are you guys okay? Are you guys okay? Answer. Are you okay? You would get in that house as quickly as possible to go and make sure that everybody in the house is alive. Because how do you know that some random home invader didn't invade the home? How do you know there's not 4 dead bodies inside? You don't know that. You don't know that there wasn't a home invasion and everybody inside has been beaten or killed or is being held hostage. John was the one that escaped, but ended up falling on the ground in the front yard and is now dying in the snow. You have no idea what's happening in that house. That would be your first stop. But Jen McCabe knew her sister was fine. She knew her brother-in-law was fine. She knew those kids were fine. They all were inside sleeping while John O'Keefe lay dying on the front lawn. And she knew they were safe. That's why she never went to the door to look for them. And I'm so mad that it's a year later and I'm just now figuring that out. That should have been, her sister's safety should have been the first thing on her mind. She should have, you would never think that what happened in the yard is an isolated incident. You would automatically start looking around and being like, is there more going on? Is there more people hurt? Right? Are there more victims? That would be your first instinct. And you would worry that your sister and your nieces and nephews were victims. Instead, she calls 911. And in her 911 call, she sounds a little frantic, but it's mostly, she even says to the 911 person, I think he's gone. And she would only know that because she Googled, allegedly, at 2:27 in the morning, how long to die in the cold. So she was doing the math. She was assuming he was probably already dead. And she knew her sister was perfectly safe, which is why she didn't go frantically to the front door. I'm a juror. That's reasonable doubt. Jen McCabe is wrapped up in a massive cover-up. So the whole thing is, she's deep in the middle of it.